Hey everybody, this is Whitebone Knives. I had a lot of users comment and ask me about how I put the logo on my knives, so I figured I'd just do a quick little tutorial video about how to do that. I'm going to be going step by step, so you'll have all the steps you need to get what you need on your knife. And we're going to put it on one of my Direwolf models. It's just that full flat grind, and we're going to put the logo right here. And before you even start thinking about putting it on there, you're going to want some acetone. You're going to want to clean the blade. So let me just do that real fast. I just take like a napkin or some tissue or something and just get everything off of there. Any fingerprints or anything that might still be on there or whatever. You just want to clean that up as best as possible. You don't have to go crazy overboard, just so long as everything comes off and it's clean. And wipe the rest of it dry. Acetone usually dries or evaporates pretty fast, but I'll just dry off the rest of it. Just clean that a little bit better. Okay. So then once you got that clean, you're going to get your logo, and I get mine from Blue Lightning Stencils, and Ernie makes them. You get them in packages, or you get them in sheets like this, and do a little close-up there for you. It's like this yellow mesh in between there, and then surrounded by some sort of vinyl, I think. I'm not exactly sure what the material is, but it's kind of like a rubbery plastic sort of feel. And then in between there is that yellow mesh, and that's what lets you get the etch in there. And I do my etches with a battery charger. I'll show that to you real fast. Just use one of these Century battery chargers. I keep the battery setting on deep cycle and on start, and then it's on 2 amp auto. If you put it on 15 amp, it etches a lot faster, but it kind of tears up your material. And you can use these over and over again if you use a low enough amperage and just kind of take your time with it rather than burning them up. So yeah, definitely don't use the 100 amp. That can be kind of harsh on your battery charger too after a while, but I go with the lowest setting, so 2 amp auto. Okay, now that we got our blade cleaned up, I want to show you how I apply the etching solution. And the etching solution that I use is just a bowl of water with some salt in it. There's not exactly any sort of measurement. I just take a bunch of salt, throw it in the water, and it works just fine. So there's no measurement needed. And I'll show you that a little bit more later, just kind of discussing about what I'm going to be doing before I go ahead and do it. And then to apply it, I will take, well, this is what I made. It's just this block of wood with a bolt running through it. And at the end here, I welded on a metal square for a contact to fit that whole pad. And that'll go over the top, but you're gonna want something to kind of even out the pressure. So I'll take a piece of felt, and this stuff's like super cheap. You can get it, I mean, just anywhere over at Walmart, whatever. Go over there, pick up some. They're like sizes of paper, like 1 foot by 8 inches or something sheets. Really cheap, and I just cut out a strip, maybe, yeah, we'll go the full length. We'll go that long. That's about, I don't know, 2.5 inches. And then I'll take a rubber band and I'll put this on here, just like that. And then wrap it around. Like so. So now you have kind of an even pressure and not so much of a direct contact, and also something to soak up your etching solution. In my case it's salt water, so let me pull that down here. Okay, so I just use a bowl and a spoon to mix it up. I've actually tried regular, iodized salt and just regular salt. I haven't really noticed any difference, so I just buy the cheaper stuff. So it's just salt without the iodine in it. So I just put some in here. As you can see on the bottom, there's quite a bit, even on the spoon. Just mix it up then until it's all dissolved. But a little bit more while this is mixing up. These stencils are super fantastic. The guy's name is Ernie, and he's from Blue Lightning Stencils. And I mean, the guy's just a pleasure to do business with. He'll work with you to get everything that you want. I mean, pretty much exactly. I mean, this is exactly what I wanted, and I mean, he was able to do that for me. And he's one heck of a guy. I mean, I've only bought from him once, but you can tell on the phone with him, he's willing to give advice and just kind of help out especially if you're doing it for the first time. So really recommend that guy. I've also tried vinyl stickers, and the only thing is with vinyl stickers is it's really hard to find somebody that can do it cheap enough. These are pretty inexpensive, but I mean, the real value comes in that you can use them over and over again. So I don't know, Ernie told me that, you know, some guys have used them hundreds and hundreds of times on one sticker, so, one stencil. In my experience, I've had about 10. I think the battery charger is a little bit more rough on the etches rather than the, rather on this material than the, like the personalizer etcher and things like that. I think they go with a little bit lower of an amperage, and it doesn't really burn up your stencil as bad. But, and it works for me right now, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay, now that our salt water is all mixed up, we have our solution. We can go ahead and start the etching process. And before you start the etching process, you're going to want to put your sticker on here, or your stencil on there. And I just take some tape and try to line it up as best you can on there. So I got that, so shift it a little bit. There. I got that part on there. And then we'll do this side. And then the bottom. And then there's not anything showing up top, but I'll just put something up there so nothing leaks out onto the other steel. You don't want any of this to any of your etching solution to touch any other part of the steel. Otherwise, it'll etch that as well. And so, I mean, depending on what the water is on there, it'll burn that shape into the metal. I usually cover up a pretty good amount of the blade, just so nothing gets on there. I don't want to take any chances. You don't have to cover up the rest of the blade. I mean, it's not going to leak that much. But I do definitely get around the stencil itself. Just make sure everything's in there really tight. The cleaning process will help the tape adhere a lot better. So, okay, that's all taped up. Like I said, this is just a block of wood that I drilled through and a bolt running through it, and then right here at the end it's just welded to a piece of plate. I think I welded it on first and then shoved it in, and then I just locked this down with a nut, like as hard as I could, and that holds it in really nice. And then so that will send your negative current all the way down through here across the whole spread. And what we do is we put our negative side on here like that, and make sure you get a good contact, which is, the black side. And we're gonna put our positive side right here on the blade. And these are copper and this is steel, so there shouldn't be any scratches, but I still try to be careful anyways. Just I mean, anything can happen, so just take a little precaution and go ahead and be a little careful there, putting it on there and taking it off. But here, let me move this out here a little. Okay. So now that we got our stencil taped up and ready to go, and our solution ready to go, we can go ahead and start etching. So what we're gonna do is just dip the alright, let me scoot this over for you. Alright, we just dip this in here. And then what I like to do is just take a paper towel and kind of dab off the excess. And then you just you burn straight onto the logo. Sometimes you gotta mix it up a little bit with salt water, or the salt water, so then you can get the salt in there. So okay, we're gonna try it again. And you can see it bubbling. I just take a cloth and wipe away the excess. Just do that again. 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I like to do usually about 5 times, and then wipe and do that whole process, rinse and repeat about 7 times. And just replace the salt water on your pad when you need to. I dip it just every now and then, kind of sop up the excess. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, wipe that out. Get some more salt water. Dab off the excess and go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Dab the excess. Salt water. And while you're doing this, you want a nice, you don't have to press too hard or anything. I mean, the The salt water really does the work. But I press down. I give a good amount of pressure, pressing down onto the stencil. That way it kind of closes the area behind it, because this doesn't have a sticky back. And if I want it to be pressed down onto the part that I want to etch. So I give it a good amount of pressure, just push down. And I just go short, even spurts of it. And I don't want to lay it on there too long, otherwise your stencil can start to burn up, and we don't want that because we want to use it for other knives. So we try to keep it in as best shape as we can. Okay, so now there's starting to get like a little bit of a buildup of the extra steel that's coming off there, that's etching into it. So I just kind of wipe that away, get all the water off, and then just don't press too hard or you could kind of screw up your stencil. And some of it will stay on there, but that's okay. It won't hurt anything. Okay. And the more you do it, the more kind of gunk you'll get built up on it. Usually when there's so much gunk on there that it's kind of hard to remove, it's about done. So I'll just do like one more round. Okay, and maybe one more, just for good measure. You can get it too deep sometimes, so I don't know how many times I've done it so far, but I usually do like steps of 5, you know, like 10 times, or maybe if it's building up like this, it usually means that it's just about done. So I'll just go ahead and do it one more time for good measure. Basically, the more you do it, the deeper the etch is going to be. Sometimes, I've tried it an extreme amount before, and it kind of looks a little bit sloppy when you do it too much. So try to keep it at a lower number. But there we go. We have that, so we can unplug our battery charger. Okay. Put your stamp to the side. Carefully unclamp your blade. And if you did make any scratches on there, you can always go back to your grinder and just touch that up. I sometimes do if anything ever happens. It looks like there might be a little bit of a scratch on there, but I could buff that out, no problem. So I'm just going to take off the stencil. Just be careful not to rip your stencil or anything. Take off all the tape. And, well, that's what it leaves. But then we're going to go over to the grinder and just clean that up. So, before you do that, take your stencil off the tape. Careful not to rip it. Okay, just throw that tape away. So now we have our stencil, and maybe you can see better up close what the kind of the little steel particles are inside there. Sometimes it gets pretty heavy, but we do have a nice deep edge on that blade, and you'll see it a lot better once it's cleaned up. But right now we're gonna go inside and clean up our stencil so we can use it for another time. So we'll go ahead and do that and be right back. Okay, so now that we're in the bathroom, we can set this down right here and get a little bit of soap, just like a dab, about that much. Okay, and we'll turn on some hot water, or warm, and just kind of dab it on there, both sides, and you just gently go back and forth, clean out all the grit. Just like that. Until it's all clear of the particles. And don't rub too hard or you could screw up your stencil. Okay, so there it is. There's still like a little bit left in there. I'll try to clean that out a little bit better. Some more soap. Just go back and forth real gently. If you want to use this logo later, I mean, it could last you, from what I've heard, it could be up to 100 knives, so you want to treat it with care and really take care of it. But okay, now that that's done, looks pretty good. Sometimes you get little tiny parts like right there. You can see how it's got the black still in it, but that's okay. That won't hurt anything. So just gonna dab that off with a towel. Okay, like I said, real gently. Keep it in good shape, and then you can use it for another time. You might notice the square around here. That's where the etching happened. I don't know if you can see in that bottom corner, the bottom right hand corner, that's where it burned a little bit. So eventually that will wear through at that point. So I might have used it a little bit too long, but whatever, that's okay. I got more, and I mean this should last me like 9 more. So eventually I'll get an etcher that can go at a lower amperage and it'll work a lot better. But this is what I have to use for now, and we make the best of what we have. So well, let's head back out to the shop. Okay, now that we're back out to the shop, I'm just going to take another napkin and just make sure that's really dry. So I'll just fold it over, just kind of tap on there, and make sure that has no moisture left on it. So, okay, this should be alright. And the other side looks really nice still, so it didn't burn through or anything. You can use it again. So we'll just put that for safekeeping. We're going to take a little Scotch-Brite pad, and I think this is one of the medium size. The green is like the heavy grit, and this is like a medium, and then there's light, which is the white color. But what I like to do is clean out the inside of the logo, and I guess you could leave it the way it is if you want it to be black, but sometimes it doesn't always turn out this even of a black, and that's with the AC currents and DC currents. I only have one on this battery charger, and I need the other one to make it black, so and stay black. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of 3-in-1 oil, put like a drop on there, and then just going to kind of rub and clean that out, because I like mine, I actually like mine to be silver. I think it's a cool little touch. It's different, you know, not everybody has the silver one. Actually, I haven't seen anybody with a silver logo, but I thought it was kind of neat, just a little different. So that cleaned it up a lot. Just gonna put another drop in here, clean it out some more. And I'm putting my thumb over the ricasso of the knife, because I don't want to have to redo that because the grind lines are vertical and I can't go horizontally to get those out. So I don't want to scratch that with the Scotch-Brite. So I just kind of go in a circle along there and get every little corner cleaned out. So go ahead and do that. You could also, I just recently found out that you can, if you did get any mess on here on your ricasso, you can take a buffing wheel and just run that buffing wheel along there and it'll clean it right up. As for the rest of the blade, I do like to take a fine grit and just go over that. I actually used 110 grit, but I go very, very lightly. As you can see, there's not a lot of very deep grind lines in there or anything. It's got a pretty nice sheen on it. But if you pulled it in just the right light, you can see what the Scotch-Brite did to that pad, or with that pad to the metal. It kind of leaves like this little burnished look right there, and we want to get that out. So we're just going to go to our grinder and just kind of go over that logo, and we'll just take a swipe across the whole blade, and that way it'll be nice and clean for us. So let's go ahead and move over there. Alright guys, now that we're at our grinder, we're just going to take it on a low speed and just put our knife up against here and just bring it across, and that should give us a nice clean surface and a very crisp logo. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll put it on fairly low. It doesn't need to be very high. So here we go. Put it on a really low speed. Just press your knife up against there. Pull it across evenly. Okay, now that that's done, we'll go back over to the bench and show you. Alright, now that we're back at our workbench, just show you what we did here. The logo came out very nice and crisp. It's silver, not black, like you normally see. Some people like the black though, and I don't blame them. It stands out, but I mean you can still see the silver, and it stands out quite nicely. I actually like it quite a bit. So, personal matter of opinion there, but you know, you choose what you want to do. I actually like the silver, so I'm gonna stay with it. But yeah, that's about it, guys. If you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to ask in the comments below. I'll try to answer you as best I can. Sometimes YouTube or any other social media site or video site, sometimes the messages get somewhat lost somehow. So forgive me if I don't answer you, or if I don't answer you back in a timely manner. Just go ahead and message me back or something, or email me or whatever. Give me a call. I don't care. All that information is on my website, so if you need to get a hold of me, just give me a call and I can help you out with whatever you need. So that's the logo, guys. Just let me know if you need anything else. Alright, thanks for watching.